after the break. And so I want to bring up now the Reverend Natalie Hill, who is the Protestant chaplain at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Reverend Hill.
Hi, everybody. What a tough act to follow. I kind of want to go to that presentation, but I have to go to my own. So when COVID necessitated that rapid evacuation of college campuses last spring, my program, unfortunately, was only about 9 months old, but we, like many of you, were kind of left scrambling, trying to transition our in-person ministries into this new virtual format. And what we found over the course of those first few months pretty quickly was that many of our usual programs did not translate very well to a virtual platform. Students were back home and going to their own home churches with their families. The fellowship groups that had been centered around a common meal lost some of that glue that held them together. I mean, what is campus ministry without free food, right? And everyone started to experience this new thing called Zoom fatigue that we know too much about now. But the students just didn't have the bandwidth, both figuratively, brain power, and sometimes literally the bandwidth in their homes or communities to be able to stream, to spend any extracurricular time on yet another video call. So we found out pretty early on that most of our students just weren't engaging in the same way. And not only that, but they weren't going to be able to return to our campuses last fall. And we actually haven't been permitted back on campus to serve the students who are present. And so that left us asking a few key questions. So if campus ministry in 2021, and here we are, it was remaining entirely virtual, what forms and platforms would engage students and build community without contributing to even more digital burnout? How are we going to actually bring them together? What is the new glue going to be? And what are the ways that we can engage them that will really stick? And as we thought about this question, we became more aware of students who never had a campus setting to return to begin with. We know that a growing number of students are attending either fully online degree programs or community colleges, pursuing other forms of vocational training like voc tech schools or apprenticeships, or just go straight from high school to work because it's necessary. And so unless they're plugged into a big church that has young adult programming, are they just falling through the cracks? How are their unique developmental needs for their age and stage of faith development being met? And so we wondered, how can we start to meet the needs of young adults who are not on residential campuses with campus ministries? And what would that look like if it was available online? These questions led us to identify the need to have a robust and multifaceted online platform, providing multiple different forms of engagement for those with that Zoom burnout, and opportunities to connect in communities of peers, the kind of resources for faith development and exploration that campus ministries are known for. The circuit launched last fall as an entirely virtual ministry startup designed around these needs. Our vision is that it can become an online hub where young adults can connect with peers who are maybe outside of their geographic, cultural, or socioeconomic spheres. Those who don't have access to traditional campus ministries can find like-minded peers and can get support and resources to grow in faith. And everybody can explore a sense of purpose and grow into our shared baptismal call to service and leadership. So we don't just want to connect people from the community online, but to help them connect back to their communities, wherever those communities happen to be, with service and leadership and faith. Our initial offerings included asynchronous content for those people who just couldn't stare at a screen anymore, including podcast and video content that they could watch whenever they wanted, as well as live content, both through video conferencing where there was more interaction, and that anonymous live streaming platform format that social media is so known for, where people could maybe comment or maybe just lurk and start to get a feel for the community. We also included downloadable self-reflection tools, journaling tools, and that's actually been one of the most popular things that my students have connected with. Is I can't come to another Zoom, but I'm really interested in continuing this process. So scaffolding a process of self-reflection. Our biggest challenge in all of this has been visibility. As one of the young people put it, the problem with the internet is that everything is on the internet. How do you find something? And so having young people and their pastors know that we exist is the first step and the biggest hurdle to reaching a critical mass that really becomes a community, where that community feeling can start to develop. With trial and error, as well as consultation with different other people who are engaged in various forms of digital ministry, not necessarily for this age group, we've changed our model a little bit going into our second year from what we might think of as the buffet style of last year, where you grab what you find, what you like, and to think of it more as a multi-course meal that moves you through different levels of involvement, similar to the early Methodist structure of bands and classes. For us, that means these levels or layers start with visibility and recruitment, which we might think of as evangelism in churchy terms. Sorry, it's early for me. How do we bring people together? How do we get them interested and then move them into a deeper level of relationship and community building? In other words, fellowship, with the goal of ultimately moving people into the realm of discipleship, where the real work of spiritual formation, identity development, discernment of purpose and vocation, and participation in leadership and service can take place. However, in order to fulfill our vision for this to be a truly connectional and connection-wide ministry, we need all of you. We would love to partner with anyone who is serving with, for, or as young adults to contribute different voices and viewpoints in podcasts and videos and worship, to encourage interested young people to see the circuit as a place to connect beyond their local community and to bring back ideas to their local community, to envision a future where on-campus and virtual ministries work together as a web that ensures that no one ages out of youth group only to fall through the cracks. If this sounds interesting to you, our breakout room will talk more about what it takes to create effective virtual ministry, designing and choosing among different ministry models, and envisioning the possibilities for partnership. Thank you, and I look forward to the conversation ahead.